Good morning, guys. Are you getting my voice? Okay. I hope screen is also visible to all of you. Is it okay, the screen? Now, today our topic is the structure of a compiler. We have briefly seen what is the role of a compiler to convert a high-level language to assembly language. Now, we will have to see briefly structure of a compiler. When we come to the structure of a compiler, see here, this is the briefly the structure of compiler will be like this. Okay, here we are dividing the entire process of compilation into two parts. Analysis part and synthesis part. We are dividing the total process of compilation into analysis part and synthesis part. Okay, the first part is the analysis part where we analyze the code. Okay, the second part is the synthesis part where we produce the assembly code. Okay, the first part is analysis part where the source code will be analyzed. Then the second part is the synthesis part. Synthesis means producing, where the machine code or the assembly code will be produced. Clear, two parts are there, analysis part as well as the synthesis part. First source code will be given to the analysis part. Then after analysis of the source code, some intermediate code will be generated. Again, that intermediate code will be given to the synthesis part, which will generate the machine code, that is the assembly code. Clear, here then it will generate the assembly code. Guys, are you following? Okay, when we come now, we have to briefly learn about these parts. Here in this unit, first at the beginning unit, we will learn briefly about this one. Later in the future classes, we will learn completely about each part. Okay, completely about each one, we will learn in the future classes. Currently, we will cover them briefly. Now, when we come to this one, okay, when we come to this process of compilation, totally the entire process of compilation is divided into the 6 pages. Okay, the total process of compilation is divided into 6 stages or 6 steps or 6 pages. We are dividing. Clear. These are those 6 pages. First page is lexical analyzer. High level language will be given to lexical analyzer. Next, the output of lexical analyzer will be given to syntax analyzer. The output of syntax analyzer is given to semantic analyzer. Then the output of that one is given to intermediate code generator. Again, the output will be given to the code optimizer. Finally, it will be given to target code generation. After applying the target code generation, we will get our required assembly code. Okay, whatever the assembly code we want, the corresponding assembly code will be generated. When we observe here, totally 6 pages are there: lexical analysis, syntax analysis, semantic analysis. Okay, these first three are come to the part called analysis part. The first three commonly called as the analysis part: lexical analysis, syntax analysis, semantic analysis. We will learn completely about those later. What is that lexical syntax semantic? We will learn now briefly, then we will go for in-depth in the future classes. Clear. Next, the second three pages are intermediate code generation, code optimization, target code generation. Clear. Intermediate code generation, code optimization, as well as the target code generation. Now, when we come to the first one, lexical analysis. We know the high level language, that is source code, we know very well. Next, first, the source code will be given to the lexical analysis phase. The first phase of the compiler is the lexical analysis phase, where the source code will be given to this lexical analyzer. Okay, the lexical analysis phase is also known as scanning phase. The lexical analysis phase is also known as scanning phase. Here, what it will do is it will scan all your program. Entire program will be scanned. The entire source code will be scanned by this analyzer. It will analyze the source program. Okay. Here, what it will do? What is this lexical analyzer will do? By scanning the entire program, what it will do? Okay. To understand those things, first we have to go for some background checking. I think in the C language, we have a topic, tokens of C language. Did you remember the topic of tokens of C language? We come back to lecture analysis after some time. First, we will go back to some other one called tokens of C language. Did you remember about that one? How many tokens are there in C language? First of all, what is a token? How many tokens are there? How can we define the tokens of any language? And then the second question is, how many tokens are there? Okay, 6 tokens are there. What is a token? First of all, my question is, what is a token in any language, C language or Java or Python or C++, whatever the language? How can we define a token? We define that one, we know that one. In case of C language, we have seen. Can anyone define what is a token? See, when we come to the token, how can we define? Means the smallest unit of the program. When we start dividing the program into parts, when we start dividing the program into parts, the smallest part of the program which cannot be divided further is known as a token. Clear? When we start dividing our program into parts, the smallest part of the program which cannot be divided further, that is called a token. It is similar to our, in the physics we have the molecules are there. If you divide molecules, we will get atoms. We can divide the, if you take things, a thing can be is a combination of molecules. That means thing can be divided into molecules. Again, molecules can be divided into atoms. Again, atoms can be divided into protons, neutrons, and electrons. That means the original item is thing is there. And when we start dividing the thing, the basic units are proton, neutron, and electron. Clear? So those are the smallest units which cannot be divided further. Proton, neutron, electron are there. In the, when we come to our programming, those smallest units which cannot be divided further are known as tokens. Similarly, when we come to our computer languages also, when we write a program in some language, we can divide that program into parts. We can classify each part of the program into various parts, so that the smallest unit of the program which cannot be divided further is known as token. And when we come to our C language, not only C language, generally, when we come to the language, we have 6 tokens are available. Clear? 6 tokens are available. Keywords, identifiers, constants, strings, special symbols, as well as operators. I have the full volume at present. Okay, when we come to this one, we have 6 tokens are available in our language, in our general languages. Okay, for example, we know very well about the C language, so we are taking example as C language. We are dividing the C program into, we can divide the C program into 6 categories: keywords, identifiers, constants, strings, special symbols, and operators. That means 6 tokens are available here. If we write any C program, the total C program can be divided into various parts. 6 parts we can divide. Some will come to the category of keywords, some will come to the category of identifiers, some will come to the category of constant, strings, special symbols, as well as operators. Clear? That means we are classifying the program into 6 different tokens. For example, see this program, I have given you a sample program. Is the program visible to you? I have given you a sample program. Guys, is the program visible to you? Now, if you observe that one, okay, I have made them into categories. I divided the program into parts so that, see, hash, less than, greater than, open brace, open parenthesis, semicolon. All these come to the category of special symbols. I divided this total program into tokens. Okay, the tokens in this program are totally, these are the tokens available in this program. Clear? Next, include, int, return, these are the keywords. Main, printf, stdio.h, all these are identifiers. Next, hello world. Hello world is the string, /n is the backslash constant, 0 is the integer constant. Clear? That means the program is divided here. I have divided the program into 6 different tokens. Is it clear, guys? Now I think you have some idea about these tokens. Are you getting what is these tokens? Roughly, I think you got some idea about the tokens roughly. Okay, tokens are the smallest part of the units of the program, which cannot be divided further. Okay, include is a keyword. We can't separate again include. We can't divide the include into 2 parts. Okay, we can say include is a keyword. That is the final phase. Further, we can't make classification. We have hash include is the, here the word is hash include. I am dividing that into 2 parts. The hash is special symbol, include is a keyword. I am separating. Again, I can't divide hash further. I can't again separate include further. Okay. When we take int main, I am classifying it into 3 parts. Int is the keyword, main is the identifier. This open parenthesis, closed parenthesis, open brace, closed brace are called the special symbols. Like that, we are classifying every line. We are breaking every line. Clear? That is the thing is called token. Is it clear now? Briefly, what is a token? Is it clear, guys? Now, what is that token? Roughly, not only I have given example for C language program. Why? Because directly we know the concept tokens of the C language. Okay, for Java also same. Those are the same tokens. Okay, whether it is C++, C or Java or any language, the basic tokens are, there are 6 tokens will be there in every language. They are keywords, identifiers, constants, strings, special symbols, and operators. All these belongs to the, for every language, these are the tokens available. ఓకే, నేను హెడ్డింగ్ సి టోకెన్స్ అని పెట్టాను. ఓన్లీ సి లాంగ్వేజ్ మాత్రం ఇవి టోకెన్స్. జావా వేరే ఉంటాయని ఏం లేదండి. ఫర్ జావా ఆల్సో దీస్ ఆర్ ద టోకెన్స్ ఓన్లీ. ఫర్ సి ప్లస్ ప్లస్ ఆల్సో దీస్ ఆర్ ద టోకెన్స్ ఓన్లీ. ఓకే, ఓన్లీ హెడ్డింగ్ సి టోకెన్స్ అని ఉంది కదా అని చెప్పి డోంట్ ఫిక్స్. దీస్ ఆర్ ఓన్లీ ఫర్ సి లాంగ్వేజ్. దీస్ ఆర్ ఫర్ Every language will have the same thing. Every language will contain keywords. Every language will contain identifiers, constant, string, operators, and special symbols will be there. Tokens are those. Now we come back to if they are clear. I will come back to lexical analysis. If we have clear about the tokens, we will come back to this lexical analysis. Okay. The duty of this lexical analysis is clear. The duty of this lexical analysis is to divide the program to identify the tokens in the program in one line answer. What is the answer is to identify the tokens in the program. Lexical analysis duty is in one line answer. If you want to simply give what is the duty of this lexical analyzer means to identify the tokens in the given program. Clear. To identify the tokens in the given program is known as the lexical analysis. In one line answer, simply we can say that is the thing. Here, when we come to lexical analysis, we want to know three definitions. First one is token. A token is a sequence of characters that can be treated as a single logical entity. Okay. A token is a sequence of characters that can be treated as a single logical entity. This is the official definition. If it is tough, simply remember a token is the smallest unit of the program which cannot be divided further. A token is the smallest unit of the programming language which cannot be divided further is called a token. The smallest unit of the programming language which cannot be divided further is known as token. That is the one definition. First, we have to clearly know to understand lexical analysis. We have to identify. We have to know the definition tokens. Clear. Next, what is the pattern? We want to know one more definition called pattern. In case of lexical analysis, we want to know one more definition called pattern. What is this patterns mean? A pattern is a set of rules that describe the token. A pattern is the set of rules that will describe the token. In the language, we have rules are there to identify the token. We have the rules are there. For example, to write identifier, we have set of rules are there to write identifier. For keywords, we have set of rules are there. Clear. For keywords, we have set of rules are there. The set of rules that describe the tokens are known as patterns. And one more important definition is Lexeme. Okay. What is this Lexeme means? Lexeme is sequence of characters in our source code which are matching to the pattern of a token. The sequence of characters in the program which are matching to the pattern of a token is known as Lexeme. First, remember the definition. I will show you clearly in the program what is Lexeme also. A Lexeme is a sequence of characters in your program which are matching to the pattern of a token. Clear. What is a token means? A token is a sequence of characters. Sorry, a token is a smallest unit of the programming language which cannot be divided further is called token. A Lexeme is a sequence of characters in the source code which are matching to the tokens. Clear. In our program, the sequence of characters which are matching to the tokens of the language, they are called as the Lexemes. Clear. To get out of the confusion between token and Lexeme, we will come back to our previous example. See, when we come to the C language, what are the tokens available in the C language? Keyword, identifiers, constants, strings, special symbols, operators. These six are called tokens in the C language. Keyword is the token, identifier is the token, constant is the token, string is the token, operator is the token. Special symbols are tokens. These are the tokens of the language. Okay. See, what are the special symbols in our program? In our source code, these are the special symbols. In our program, these are the keywords. In our program, these are the identifiers. In our program, these are the constants. In our program, these are the strings. Okay. See, this include int return. Where these are in our program. Okay. They are matching to which token? They are matching to the token keywords. Okay. This include int return. These are called Lexemes. Why? Because they are present in our program. They are matching to which token? They are matching to one particular token called keyword. Clear. These keywords, special symbols, and the second column is called the token. The first column where these symbols are called the Lexemes. These what include int return. These are Lexemes. main, printf, HTML. These are called the Lexmes. Clear, guys? Difference between Lexme and token. Tokens mean the entities which are of the programming language are called the token. Lexmes are set of characters of our program which are matching to tokens. The set of characters in the program, the sequence of characters in the program which are matching to tokens are called Lexmes. Are you getting the point? The difference between tokens and Lexmes. Other difference, Lexme ki token ki slight difference is there. మన ప్రోగ్రామ్ లో ఉండే యాక్చువల్ వర్డ్స్ ఏమంటున్నాము లెక్స్మీస్, వీఆర్ కాలింగ్ దెమ్ యాజ్ లెక్స్మీస్. అవి ప్రోగ్రామ్ లో దేనికైతే మ్యాచ్ అయినా ఏ టోకెన్ మ్యాచ్ అని చెక్ చేసుకుంటా ఉంది. ఇన్క్లూడ్ ఇంట్ రిటర్న్, దీస్ ఆర్ కాల్డ్ యాజ్ ద లెక్స్మీస్. దే ఆర్ మ్యాచింగ్ టు వన్ టోకెన్ కాల్డ్ కీవర్డ్. మెయిన్ ప్రింట్ఎఫ్, HTML, these are called the lexmes. These three lexmes are matching to one token called identifier. Hello world is a lexme. It is matching to one token called string. 0 is a lexme. It is matching to one token called integer constant. /n is a lexme. It is matching to one token called backslash character constant. Clear? Tokens are the belongs to the language, whereas lexmes belongs to your source code, your program. The sequence of characters in your program which are matching to tokens are known as lexmes. Clear? They are called the lexmes. Okay. The pattern is a set of rules that we are using for comparing lexme with token. Okay, the set of rules which we are using for comparing lexme with token are the patterns. By using these patterns only, it will compare whether these sequence of characters are matching to keyword or not, whether these sequence of characters matching to special symbols or not, whether they are matching to identifiers or not. How it will verify means with the help of these patterns. Okay, in the second unit, in the next topic, we will get again, we will learn in depth about the lexical analysis. Clear? Now, when we come to this lexical analysis, now read these points. See, lexical analysis is also known as scanning. It is the first phase of compilation process. It takes the source code as input. First 3 points are very simple one, very clear. Next, fourth one, it reads the source program one character at a time and converts it into meaningful lexmes. It will read the source program character by character and it will try to identify the lexmes. Okay. Next one, lexical analyzer represent lexmes in the form of tokens. Lexical analyzer will represent the lexmes identified in the form of tokens. If there is any blank characters are there, that means spaces are there, it will eliminate those spaces. The lexical analyzer will not consider the white spaces. Okay. When there is the spaces are the blank characters are there, empty space is there, it will eliminate that one. Is it clear? Because roughly what is happening in the lexical analysis? Other than roughly, what is lexical analysis will do? The duty of the lexical analysis is to identify the set of lexmes which are matching to the tokens of the program. To identify the set of lexmes of the program which are matching to the tokens of the programming language. If your source code is C language, the duty of the lexical analysis is to identify the set of lexmes in your C program which are matching to the tokens of the C language. If your program is Java program, the duty of the lexical analysis is to identify set of lexmes in the Java program which are matching to tokens of the Java language. That is the duty of this lexical analysis. Just it will analyze and identify the set of tokens. Is it clear, guys? Briefly, what is this lexical analysis will do? Again, we have separately completely we will learn how it is scanning, how it is identifying. We will learn in depth after few classes. Just in one line, these are the answers. Say, for example, if there is a line in the program like this, x is equal to y plus 10. If there is a line in your program like this, what is this lexical analysis will do? It will identify x, identifier, it will categorize. is equal to assignment operator y identifier plus addition operator 10 integer constant. Like that, it will classify the Lexmees into tokens. Okay, it will try to identify the set of Lexmees which are matching to the tokens of the language. Did you got the point, guys? Hey, if you are responding, then I can happily move forward or backward. If you keep calm, I can't get whether you are understanding or not. I have only one option. Simply I will read for reading the slide if you don't respond. Now I think you have some brief idea about the first page of lexical analysis. Okay, in one line answer, if anybody asks you, the answer is the duty of lexical analysis is to identify set of lexemes in the source code which are matching to the tokens of the programming language. That is the lexical analysis. See, if you give this program as an input to the lexical analysis, it will give this one. These are the lexemes. These are the corresponding tokens. Like this, it will separate them. Okay, simply it will identify the lexemes and it will drop. The lexical analysis will not do anything more. Just it will divide the program into lexemes. Clear? Only it will try to identify the set of lexemes. The program will be divided into set of lexemes, that is tokens. Next, after this one, these lexemes are provided to second phase called syntax analysis. The tokens are lexemes which are generated in the first phase are given to whom? They are given to the syntax analysis. Okay, the syntax analysis is also known as parsing. The syntax analysis is also known as parsing. Okay, the syntax analysis, in the syntax analysis, it will generate a syntax tree or parse tree. It will try to generate a syntax tree or parse tree internally by using those tokens or lexemes. It will try to construct a tree that is called syntax tree or parse tree. We will learn completely about the syntax tree when we go to the unit syntax analysis. Here we will see briefly how the syntax tree will look like. When we go to that particular unit, we will completely learn what is the syntax tree, how it is constructed. So the present, remember here, the syntax analysis will take the tokens or lexemes from the lexical analysis, and for those tokens taken from lexical analysis, it will construct a tree called syntax tree or parse tree. Here what it will do in the syntax analysis is, while constructing the parse tree, okay, it will verify each and every token whether it is matching to set, whether it is matching to the rules of regulations of the programming language or not. Okay, while constructing the syntax tree by using the lexemes came from the lexical analysis. At the time of constructing the parse tree or syntax tree, it will check whether those tokens are according to the syntax of the programming language or not, whether they are exactly okay. By collecting all those tokens, it will try to verify whether all are as per the rules and regulations of the programming language or not. That is the thing it will do by constructing the parse tree. By constructing, it will try to verify whether it is following the syntax rules of the programming language or not. Clear? Also, okay, the syntax, and if there is any syntax errors in your program, the syntax analysis will identify all your syntax errors in your program. The syntax errors in your program are identified by whom means the syntax analysis of your program are identified by the syntax analysis. That's why those errors are called syntax errors. Why? Because they are identified in the syntax analysis only. While constructing the parse tree, okay, it will try to compare those tokens, those set of tokens with the rules and regulations of the programming language, whether they are matching with the rules and regulations grammatical rules of the programming language or not. If they are matching happily, it will construct the syntax tree. Otherwise, it will raise the syntax error. Clear? So that is the syntax analysis. The parse tree will look like this one. The parse tree will look like this. For the line, if there is a programming line like this, a plus b star c. If, for example, if there is a line like this, what is the syntax tree for this one is? Okay. First, which operation we have to do in this one, a plus b star c? We have to perform the inside the parenthesis, a plus b, we have to perform. So first it will construct a plus b, it will construct a tree for this tree, a plus b, it will construct a tree. Next, the result of a plus b must be multiplied to c. So again, the result of this a plus b will be given to star with c. Clear? Like this is a sample tree. Okay, no need to hurry how it is, how this tree is generated. We will learn in depth when we come to that topic, how to construct that tree. Clear? Here, roughly, I am showing you how the tree looks like. A parse tree will be like this. Okay, by taking the set of tokens, it will try to construct the parse tree. While constructing the parse tree, if there is any syntax error there, it will identify those syntax errors. Can you give me examples of syntax errors? Which errors are you called as syntax errors? Can you suggest me? Yeah, exactly. Spelling mistakes. For example, if you take the main method, the spelling of the main method must be M-A-I-N. Okay. As per the rules and regulations of the language, it must be M-A-I-N. If you change the spelling, it don't accept that one as a main method. For example, if I write M-I-A-N instead of M-A-I-N, if I write M-I-A-N, it is identifier. M-I-A-N is also identifier. But okay, so lexical analysis will divide that M-I-A-N as a identifier, but syntax analysis will not accept that one. Why? Because as per the language rules, the spelling should be M-A-I-N, but you are writing M-I-A-N, even though it is identifier, it won't accept that one as a main. Okay, spelling mistakes are the syntax errors. Any more else? Any more? Any more additional syntax errors? Which mistakes we call as the syntax errors? Okay, missing braces. See, for example, one more best syntax error is if you forgot semicolon. As per the rules and regulations of the language, end of the every line must be semicolon must be there. Okay, we must give the semicolon at the end of the every line. If you forgot that one, it is treated as a syntax error. Next, if you take keywords, all keywords must be in small letters only. Okay, keywords must be in small letters. Int, int, you have to write in small letters only. If I take I as the capital, it is also a syntax error. It won't recognize it will not recognize int as a keyword. It won't accept. Why? Because I is capital. It is not according to the rules and regulations of the language. Like that, the set of rules, it will identify. Syntax errors will be there. Clear. The duty of the syntax analyzer is to identify the to identify the syntax errors if any present in the program. If there is no syntax errors, it will happily generate the syntax tree or parse tree. Clear. Then the output, this parse tree or syntax tree will be given to next phase called semantic analysis. The next phase is the third phase of the analysis part is the semantic analysis. Okay, we have no time. Tomorrow we will continue the semantic analysis. Semantic analysis is nothing but checking of the meaning. Syntax analysis is duty is to check whether the line is according to the rules and regulations of the grammar or not, of the rules and regulations of the programming language or not. Semantic analysis is to identify whether it is meaningful or not. Okay, tomorrow we will clearly write the example to understand the difference between syntax analysis and the semantic analysis. Now, this is the briefly today we have roughly seen two phases, lexical analysis phase as well as the syntax analysis phase of the compiler. Is it clear, guys? These two roughly. What is the syntax analysis and lexical analysis? Roughly, is it clear? Okay, tomorrow, see, don't worry about these pages. Why? Because again, each page is one separate unit for us. Lexical analysis is one chapter, syntax analysis is one chapter. For every chapter is there for every page. We have to learn completely about lexical analysis. More points are there. We have to learn completely about syntax and everything. Okay, so we have no need to worry about that one. In the future classes, we will learn completely about them. Tomorrow we will see the semantic analysis. Clear. This is the for today we have seen lexical analysis as well as the syntax analysis. Is it okay, guys, for today? Okay. Only we have 1 minute time, remaining time is there. So today we are winding up. Why? Because at 11 I have another class for final year. Tomorrow we will meet. Okay, guys. Thank you very much. Bye. Today is the birthday of Harish. Many happy returns of the Harish. Have a good day. Okay, guys. Bye.